How's it going, Cosmonauts? I'm Cosmic. Welcome back. In today's episode, I want to do something a little bit different. I know I say that every time, because every time I do something, I'm different. This is more of a variety channel, I guess, nowadays. But I wanted to come in and just talk about Marvel Rivals and its characters that it has, and come up with some concepts for some new characters. So, let's do that. My favorite subcategory of Marvel characters is the X-Men, so of course that's where I started, and from there I thought, since this is the first episode, I'm gonna at least do two. So I thought about what two X-Men are not in the game that I could do, and then I was going down through various characters, and then it hit me like boom, of course. So of course, for me, the first concept that we are gonna do is Marvel's best couple, Marvel's best everything, in my opinion, my two favorite X-Men, Rogue and Gambit. So without further ado, let's get straight into our first concept, which will be for Gambit. So, of course, we have Gambit. Gambit, as most people assume, he is a duelist. So, with this, I did want to state that anything that I say about any concept, none of these are predictions. These are all just what I would like to see if I can make the character. This is how I would do it. It would be cool if this comes true, but I'm not saying it will. Starting off with his passive being kinetic storage. Any damage done by Gambit gets turned into kinetic charge, which is stored in a bar similar to Mr. Fantastic. At 100%, he will go into a supercharged state that increases the damage dealt by his cards and his bow staff. His first attack. Attack 1 will be kinetic card. So he will throw a kinetic card that is works like a sticky grenade. It sticks to the enemy, and then after 5 seconds it will explode, doing extra damage and splash damage to nearby enemies. If an enemy is killed while the card is attached to them, before it is detonated, the card will fall to the ground and then stick on the ground, where then it will detonate at the original time. Still doing the splash damage and everything. Attack number 2. His second attack is his bow staff, which is a quick combo of swings. It doesn't have a whole lot of range, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, it does quite a bit of knockback, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage or anything. Unless your kinetic charge meter is at 100%. If it is, it doubles the damage of your bow staff and doubles the range of your bow staff, making it a lot more useful. Ability 1. So his first ability is called Kinetic Charge. Yes, Gambit will spin his bow staff standing in place, absorbing all damage taken from the front and converting it into a kinetic charge. So basically, yeah, he converts all the damage that he takes from the front and puts that straight into his kinetic meter. Ability 2, Early Detonation. This allows you to instantly detonate any cards that are out in play, no matter what their timer is at. This will explode all of them instantly. I pick this ability is very similar to Bomb King from Paladins. He also has a double jump. I called it Master Thief. When you press jump again, you have a double jump. But I also gave him a little bonus thing here. So if you're using your second jump, and then you're about to hit the ground, you can hit X at the last second again. He will thrust his bow staff down, creating an explosion on the ground, launching him for a third jump before he lands again. And then, of course, the part everybody's been waiting for, the ultimate. Gambit's ultimate, called Remember It. A portal opens from above, causing a sentinel head to fall through. Gambit leaps into the air, touches the head, making it a giant explosive. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Well, that's Gambit's base concept out of the way. Next we'll go up to Gambit's team-up abilities. So the first one we have is Kinetic Rampage, which is a team-up between Gambit and Wolverine. where Gambit leaps onto Logan's back and charges his claws, which causes Wolverine to charge forwards in extreme speeds. Whatever he runs into explodes. This ability was very much inspired by the scene in X-Men 97. Next up, we have Unbreakable Bond, which is a team-up between Rogue and Gambit. We won't talk about the Rogue side quite yet, but for Gambit, all that he does, since he's the anchor point of the ability, is he just gets a boost to his damage. Next up, we're going to go on to the skins I'd like to see for Gambit. So, I picked out 5. I know that's a little reckless. Gambit's one of my favorite X-Men characters, so I like him a lot. So I have extra love for Gambit here. So the skins are, of course, the one that I'd want the most is the X-Men 97 skin, just because it is peak Gambit skin. Next up, I have the Horseman of Death, because that skin is hard. It is from Apocalypse's 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. When he makes Gambit the Horseman of Death, his fit is just metal as hell. I love it. It goes hard. Next up, I have the classic X-Men colors when Gambit's whole fit was the, classy yellow and blue. Next up is a casual suit that he gets after his classic suit in the comics, before he gets his, classic 90s suit. And then finally, another suit from X-Men 97, but I had to put it in here, the white classy suit. I just think it's perfect, would be fit really nice as just a shop skin. I feel like he could have a really cool MVP as well, especially with some of the things that happen in that scene. Next up, we're on to our next character, which is Rogue. And for Rogue is again one of my favorite X-Men characters. She is my favorite female Marvel character. Overall, I picked Rogue here, and we're gonna make Rogue a strategist. I know most people were thinking either Duelist or Vanguard because she's very tanky, but I wanted to try something a little bit different. So, first off, we'll start with her passive. As most people know, Rogue's powers are absorbent based, where she can steal people's powers and their life force and stuff. So I tried to base her kit very heavily around that core stealing of abilities and, stealing of life force kind of thing. So her passive here is Too Close. So basically, you know how Storm has a ring around her? It's similar to that. She has a ring around her, which if enemies spend too much time in it, the radius, they will fall under a sleepiness similar to Mantis's sleep effect. This is where the difference is when teammates are in there, they are slightly healed over time. It's like a constant heal ring for her teammates, but it doesn't do a whole lot of healing, but it's a constant sleepy effect for the enemy team. This is not a large ring. This is probably, I would say, like a quarter of the size of Storm's ring, but it's still, if you're in a tight hallway, you're going to heal your whole team just passively. Attack 1, Smackdown. This is a close range, high damage combo, punches, does a cool combo, does a lot of damage. So the other thing I wanted to mention, I really built Rogue around kind of countering the rush down healer takers, kind of like Spider-Man and Iron Fist, how they rush down healers. Rogue is going to be kind of the healer that you want to take down from a range because you don't want to get close to her. So with her second attack, we have Healing Aura, which Rogue throws a locked projectile at her teammates, healing them. It has 5 stacks and has a 3-second cooldown for each stack. I just basically took the idea that she stole the healing ability from and is now using it for her own kit. Ability number 1, Power Slip. A Rogue can throw a small AoE attack that is basically a throwable version of her passive. So she throws a ring, it makes enemies sleepy within it and heals her teammates. This does a lot more healing than, of course, her passive, and it also does a lot more sleepy than her passive. Ability 2 is called Carol's Flight. Rogue can fly for a short amount of time. As you know, in the comics, she steals her powers from Captain Marvel, or not Captain Marvel, it's Miss Marvel, but at the time, it's when Carol Danvers was Miss Marvel, so that's where the Carols comes from. Now on to Rogue's ult. The ult is simply called What Powers. This is a big AoE ult. It removes all abilities from the enemy team for 5 seconds. And yeah, if you've played Overwatch, you know Sombra EMP, it's that.
Apagando las luces.
Next, we're just gonna move on straight to her team ups. First up, we have Unbreakable Bond, which is between her and Gambit, like we talked earlier. This would be her triangle or her third ability. I don't know what the button is on PC. I normally play on controller. Rogue gets a layer of kinetic armor that she can apply to herself. It lasts 10 seconds and can be broken. And then her other team up is just called Double It, which is Rogue X, a character that I'm not going to mention yet because it will be in a future episode. We'll explain what it does in that episode, so that will be at a later point. Next up, we're just going to go on to Rogue skins. First up, the first skin we have for Rogue is her Counselor skin. So I guess this is an outfit she had after she became a Counselor. You could correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's just what I read when I was researching really quick for this outfit. Next up, we have the X-Men Evolution skin. Come on, the skin's great. It's one of the best outfits that Rogue's had. I think it might be my favorite one without the jacket, to be honest. Next up, we have the hooded and cape style suit, which is pretty cool. I just think it would be pretty nice to have a hooded version as well, just to mix up the skins. Next suit we have up is the red suit. Jacket on, jacket off, doesn't really bug me. I just think the sunglasses are a must for this one. And of course, you know me, I have to put the X-Men 97 suit in there because the X-Men 97 versions of any of the suits are just perfection. So, with that out of the way, that brings us to the end of my Marvel concept. If you liked it, please leave a like. It really lets me know, and I will keep making these if you guys like them. If not, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're an MVP. And without further ado, peace.